welcome to another up close video. Today's one is looking at the Magnificent Mortice gift box, which is part of Tonic's Cyber Week die sets that they're bringing out. And I'm not 100% sure how this one comes to you, but you can see there is a massive amount of dies in this set. It is basically 2 A4 die sets all together, and the last time we had a die set like this was for their birthday week, and it was called the Delightful Dresser, and that one actually came in one of the popper wallets with 2 magnetic sheets. So you had, I think you had 1 sheet for each. If not, they would go back to back on the double-sided magnetic sheet. But it came with all of the storage in there as well, so I presume that this one will come like that too. And there is also instructions for this, and I've seen pictures of the packaging, so you should have gorgeous examples of how to put this box together, plus the construction details on the inside of the packaging as well. However, I know that some of you love watching construction videos rather than following the instructions, and I did find some of the instructions a little bit confusing, and like them saying the second largest die where it was actually the actual largest die and stuff like that. So if you do get hold of this set and find the instruction confusing, there will be a separate construction video, which I have already filmed, so that I can show you the box that it creates, showing you exactly how to put this together and any hints and tips and stuff as well, and explaining why they might have done a certain die a certain way, well, why I think they might have done it that way and everything. And it will give you step by step how to do the base of the box and another layer, make the lid of it, how to do the little feet, and there are also 2 small gift boxes that fit inside the box as well. And the idea is that you have this massive large gift box, which I reckon the interior of the gift box is like 7 inches. Yeah, it is practically about 6 3/4 inches, the interior of the gift box. And then the smaller gift boxes, there are 2 different styles. You can actually fit 4 of them inside the box as well. So it's a really nice kind of multi-gift gift box for somebody. Or, as I was talking in my construction video, I realised because you can stack the layers up and you fit 4 on each layer, be perfect for an advent calendar as well. And you could do them so that all the boxes are in order, so you kind of go through the first layer, the second layer, third layer and everything. And you could even do it as 2 parts as well, or actually you could do a fantastic 12 days of Christmas one, because then you would only need 3 layers on the box, so it would be a lot less work for you to put it all together. And I think it would be a nice gift for somebody to open, you know, all the 12 days of Christmas going into January as well. So I think there are lots of different options or occasions where this kind of a gift box would be really good, and it's actually one of the largest, I'd say, gift boxes that I think Tonic have done. I think it's probably is the largest, to be honest, unless one of the kaleidoscope ones would be maybe be bigger, I'm not sure. But it is a really lovely, gorgeous sized box. You could definitely give like someone a full set of chocolates in here, homemade chocolates. You could do a lovely arrangement of biscuits in here. You could even make kind of like the outside walls and build it up, and it could be some kind of plant pot hider for, you know, on the windowsill or something. I think there are loads of different ways of using this actual box that this die set creates, but obviously there are loads of different pieces in here that could be good for other occasions, for card making and all sorts as well. At this point of filming this part of the video, I haven't had a chance to do any cards, but if I do, they will be inserted later into the video. I'll come back and film that bit separately later. Hopefully I will get a chance, because there's lots of gorgeous dies in here that I'm dying to do some card making with. But if you're interested in getting this die set, there will be links to it below the video in the description, and also on my blog as well, and they are affiliate links, so I will make a small commission off however much you've spent on your order, but it's at no extra cost to you as well. And there are links for the UK site and the USA site, and you don't have to buy the item of the link that you clicked. I had someone ask us the other day. So basically, if you click one of my affiliate links and it takes you to one of the Tonic websites, you can buy whatever you want. It doesn't have to be what the link was taking you there for. And then if you check out your basket, then I'll get the commission, and it's at no extra cost to you as well. So, and I really, really, really do appreciate you using those links too, especially this time of year as well. So, I want to actually show you what the box looks like, because this kind of looks quite intimidating for how to kind of create the box, especially because some of the portions aren't really what you would expect them to be. For example, like this, that is the side of the box, but it looks so weird and peculiar of a die, like compared to a normal like side panel of a box. So if I show you the box, it'll make more sense. So this is the actual box. This is actually a double layered box, and this is the one that I put together in the construction video for you. You can see how enormous this box is. You can also see my handle for the top of the box. There is instructions in there that kind of tell you that you can use part of the leg die to create a knob to go on the top of the box. I don't know if I did it right, but I didn't really like how it turned out. And I always keep all of my leftover glue and Nuvo Drop lids on my desk. And I just spotted one and I was like, oh, that would be perfect for the lid in the centre of the handle in the centre of the lid. So brilliant. But this is the fantastic box that it creates, and this is a double layer, so you can just do one layer of it and it would be this tall, and this lid would then slot onto this layer. But I decided to go for a double layered box to show you exactly how you can stack it together. I show you that in the construction video. Obviously you can go more to town with the decoration for this. I kind of a little bit pushed for time, so I've sort of cheated and only decorated parts of it, but you could definitely fill all of this full of the decorative panels. You also have the plain shapes to kind of decorate these portions, so you can use your pattern papers or any inky papers and stuff that you've done to decorate it as well. But the thing I wanted to show you, look at these sides. This is the mortise part of the box. They actually have like a mortise kind of joint in the corners, which is really cleverly engineered, and it's a very unique kind of join for a box as well. I'd never seen anything like it before, but it's really fun to put together as something completely different. If you're a really big fan of all the Tonic boxes, I think you're really going to enjoy this one as something different to put together. And it's a really lovely, sturdy, stable box. You have the gorgeous feet on the bottom of it. You can make this as tall as you want as well, so 2 layers is really sturdy still, but I think you could probably, from the feel of this, I think you could definitely go up to 4, 5, maybe even 6 layers to do that advent calendar kind of idea as well. And you've got all these stunning layers to decorate with. I didn't even use all of them for mine, but you can build up so many layers on the top of this. But also, obviously, your card making, you could definitely put all of these layers onto your cards. And also in my construction video, I had the idea, it's probably an obvious idea, but to turn this into like a set of cards to give to somebody, especially if you just did the single layer box and maybe even didn't use the feet on it. You could just have a single layer box. You could put a whole set of maybe 12, like either handmade, maybe less if you've handmade them because they might be a little bit thicker, but even just like buying a packet of like charity Christmas cards or something and putting them in a box like this as a gift to give to somebody, and maybe even utilising the front of one of the Christmas cards as the top panel, or you know, using a die to cut it down to a smaller square and fitting it inside one of these gorgeous intricate ones as well. I think that would be a really cool idea. But I think the idea of this box is that you can put 4 of the smaller boxes inside it. So I've actually only made one of each style of box in here because I wanted to show you one of each for the construction. But I think you can fit 4 in here because obviously it's a square box and I fit 2 next to each other. However, mine is a very snug fit because I didn't think about the possibility that you could fit 4 in here, and I actually used 3D foam to stick these panels on the side, so it made it a very snug fit. But if you just stick the panels flatly on the sides, you can definitely get 4 boxes inside this. One of the boxes, well, they all have these fantastically gorgeous panels on them, but one of the boxes is like an open topped box here, so you could make 4 of them and it would like divide up, I don't know, a packet of celebrations or something. You could put the different types in the 4 quadrants. Maybe I said this in something before. I think it was when the kaleidoscope boxes came out and I did a hexagon one with 6 triangular boxes inside it, and I was saying you could give one like triangle portion, you could assign one to each person in the family, and then when you get a box of chocolates at Christmas, you can divide up the chocolates in there, so someone's not hogging all of like the Maltesers or something. You could actually divide them, and I think this would give that same kind of idea. You could have the 4 of these little open boxes inside this lovely gorgeous box, and you could have you know, mum, dad, sister and yourself to be like a way of dividing up the chocolate so everybody gets a fair amount of whichever flavours or something. I think that'd be a cool idea. And the other style of box that you get in here, so you get that lovely opened one, which is actually really lovely and sturdy. You also get this one, which has a really cool locking mechanism on here as well. This portion, this disc, actually like slides in that section there. It's really clever. I love the engineering in Tonic die sets, and it's just another gorgeous little gift box that you could put 4 of the same of these in here. And that this was where I came up with the advent idea when I saw this one. I love that it actually stays shut by itself as well, but you could easily put a number on all of the circles on these, or maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody you know is going through a tough time and you want to give them lots of gifts, or you want to give them something that they could open every day, not necessarily Christmassy or Advent, but you could do something like this, maybe with 2 or 3 layers with all of these boxes in, and it could say something nice on here. You could write a lovely message and then have a gift inside, or it could be like a mini craft every day or something. I don't know. There's loads of different ideas of what you could do for this with this kind of box, whether it is using it for Christmas. I said in my other video, I don't know if it'll be a little bit late for creating an advent calendar for this year, but definitely a non-Christmas kind of advent calendar sort of thing would be quite nice. Or if you did the 12 days of Christmas, you know, that starts after Christmas. So yeah, I think this would be such a lovely die set for creating lovely, more heartfelt kind of gifts to give to people, I suppose, because you can really put some thought into what's going in all of the small different boxes and stuff as well. I think it's a really lovely die set. And you can obviously fit these small boxes in all of the layers, so the height of each layer is perfect to fit the boxes in. So if you were stacking them, if you did the advent calendar or 12 days of Christmas, they would definitely all stack on top of each other, and you know, obviously have a layer of 4 on top of each other as you go up the box. But I think this is a fantastic box. So if you do get this die set and you want to see how it goes together, or maybe you want to see how it goes together before you decide to buy it, there will be my construction video. I'm not 100% sure when I'll put it up. I could put it up the same day, it might be a couple of days later depending on what other videos I've got going up, but it will definitely be up this week for you to have a look at if you're interested. But I really wanted to show you what the actual box looks like before we look at the dies as well. So that is the gorgeous Magnificent Mortice gift box, and I really do love this one. I think it's really lovely. So looking at this die set, you can see there are tons and tons of dies in here to create the box. It's not as like daunting as you think. Once you realise what portions or what dies make what portion, it's a lot easier to kind of figure out how it goes together. So this largest one that's here is actually the lid of the box, and I explain in the construction video that I think the reason why they have given you the sides of the lid separate to the actual lid, well, one, it kind of makes it a little bit sturdier because you're sticking like this large glue tab to this side piece, but I think the reason why they've done it is this is so wide. If they made this die any wider, it wouldn't go through your tangerine. You'd have to have one of those like 12 by 12 machines, which obviously not everybody has. So the way they have combated this, they could have given you a square with the 2 like proper full-sized sides on 2 of the sides, and then you would cut 2 and turn 1 round, so you'd have the 4 sides all the way around it. But this is already taking up a large portion of an A4 sheet, so if they did it the other way, you would have to use 2 A4 sheets just to create the lid of the box, and that's with no decoration at all. But the way they have done it is they've given you this large die with as large a glue tabby kind of bit that they could give you for the width of the die to go through the machine, and then they've given you the edge of the lid separately that you would stick on, and they've made it so that you can get the 4 of these that you need from the rest of the A4 sheet of card, so you're only needing 1 sheet of card to make the lid rather than possibly 2 if they'd done the die in a different way. So I think that's quite a good idea of Tonic's as well. And also with the sides of the box, I was saying as well, this is the side, but there is no glue tab to glue the bottom of the box to this side, so they have given you the separate glue tab die. And I think again the reason why they've done this is because adding that glue tab, I know it would only be 1, but adding that glue tab would mean that there was less room on this A4 plate of dies, so you wouldn't have been able to fit on 2 options for the little boxes to go inside. You would have only really been able to fit on 1 option. So they've done this so that you've got extra like versatility, but also you've managed to get extra dies within the die set as well. But I was saying, I also think this glue tab die is just going to be really useful as well, because I know I've done it a lot in the past where you want to combine a few Tonic boxes that weren't meant to be combined, but you can combine them to like increase the height or, you know, something like that, and you often need to make your own glue tabs. But this die actually gives you the glue tab then, and you can cut it down to whatever length you want, and then you have your already made glue tab, which, you know, again is a really lovely extra kind of die to have in your stash that you might require later down the line. So I think that's why they've done those different bits and pieces with creating the dies. But saying that, it is packed full of dies that you're going to be able to use to create this, but also for your card making as well. And hopefully I will have managed to get a chance to do some cards, and they'll be later on in the video. But there are some really gorgeous patterned panel dies that I think would look fantastic on your cards, and like this one was my favourite that I actually used on the Mortice box for the side panels. This would fit really nicely going horizontally across a portrait card, so you could actually like not even, you know, think about these curved end pieces and just have some gorgeous patterned strips that would go across your card, and you've got multiple different patterns to pick from as well. You've got gorgeous little rectangular designs in here too, and you've even got more of an arched shape design to go with the smaller box, the actual different mechanism with the locking mechanism for the smaller box too. And they actually even have, oh yeah, see, I was struggling with the placement. Ah, that's really good actually. Oh yeah, I was struggling with the placement. If you watch my construction video, I was kind of umming and ahhing of where to put the locking mechanism for the top of that box. But actually, if I had used a patterned panel on the top of the box, it has a blank space where it's supposed to go, and there is an indent where the little circle would go on the opposite side of the box. So if you completely decorate it with all of the decorative panels on the top, you won't have any issues with placing that locking mechanism on there, so that's great to know as well. You also have a really lovely sentiment in here too that says a gift from, no, gift for you, not from you, a gift for you, in a gorgeous cursive font, which I'm sure if I get a chance to make some cards I'll be using that and snipping it out of that lovely tag shape. And then obviously I think this is the main portion of the die set that you can instantly see using it on your cards, because it's just basically a gorgeous decorative square layering die set, similar to some of the other ones that Tonic may have brought out in the past, which also means that if they have brought out layering square die sets in the past, they're going to fit on the lid of this box. And there are a lot of different square sets. There have been like the patterned panel dies, they would look fantastic on this. There's been the, were they called mosaic dies, where you cut the same die twice and then twice again from the other one, and you layered them on top of each other, and you got like that layered sort of look with the detail underneath the other detail. I don't know if I just explained that very well or not. And then there's also like the floral frames that had those gorgeous like thanks for everything. That's one of my favourite little sentiments that's in there. There are so many Tonic dies. You know, if I went through my stash and brought them out, we'd be here for ages going through which different die sets would work with this. But any square die set would work fantastically, just switching it out. But also octagons work perfectly on a square because they're basically just squares with the corners cut off. Hexagons would work nicely on the square. Even a pentagon would work nicely on a square. Circles, ovals, any of your nesting layering die sets that you have from Tonic or any other brands, you could use on the top of this box. Also die cutting things that you've stamped as well. You've got a lot of basic squares in here that you could use to just cut out layers from something that you've stamped and coloured, maybe just patterned papers. You get lots of lovely gorgeous patterned papers. Even the ones that Tonic did that came out with one of their memory book sets, they had like a 12 by 12 pattern paper set which had some gorgeous like florals in a like a vintagey kind of style. Some of them, as well as other paper pads I've seen, have like gorgeous focal pages that it's really hard to use because you don't want to cut into them because they look so beautiful. But something like that would work really nicely on the lid of this box because you can easily just die cut it into a large square and you'll be able to see the whole thing. And also just like adding some of your sentiment dies on top of some of these gorgeous patterns that are in here as well would look lovely. And I just thought as well, you could actually use these, which are supposed to decorate the edges of the box, but you could definitely use this and it would give almost like a mited frame kind of look, and you'd probably get like little petal shapes right in those very corners where they meet each other. So if I show you with this one as well, if you met these at 90 degrees, they would give you a kind of petal shape in the corner, but you could also use that to decorate the top of your box. What about using them backwards as well and getting a bigger sort of curve cut out of the corner? So there are loads of different dies in here to make tons and tons of different versions of this box. And also like smaller layering dies as well. I'm sure you have tons of smaller layering dies that you could use to layer on top of the smaller boxes as well. And even little rectangles too. I'm sure we've had lots of different little rectangles. Some of them would probably be the perfect sizes to mix and match onto these as well. So loads of different ways of combining this die set with ones you already own or with pattern papers or all sorts of other stuff as well. I'm not sure how much of an up close look it's worth giving you for this die set, but I think I'll go through the main dies that are required to make the box. So if you don't want to watch the construction video, you'll at least be able to see what are the main dies that actually make the box, and then I'll show you an up close of all of these gorgeous layering dies and the detail dies as well. So to make the lid of the box, you need this largest die here, plus this piece that I showed you before, and that is actually just how you make the box lid. But on mine, I also decided to put these curved pieces on the corners, which you actually use to hold the edges of the box together when I show you those dies later on. But you actually get 3 of them on the actual die, which makes cuts down on your die cutting time a lot, because obviously you're going to need 4 for every corner, and actually for making one of the bases you actually need 8 of them. So if you're doing a double based one, that's 20 you're going to need altogether for doing both layers and the lid. So it's really nice that you've got them 3 to a die. Also it means it's not such a small die that you might lose as well. But so to make the lid of the main big box, that is what you need. That largest one, this little sort of side piece with a glue tab on it, and then these little pieces that hide the corners. Not that they need to be hidden, but because they're on the rest of the box, it's quite nice to add them onto this box, onto the lid of the box as well. Oh, and actually, I just remembered, I'm not showing you all of the dies here because I just remembered on this piece of acetate, I left them on there because I knew I wasn't going to cut them and I didn't want to lose them all. You actually get the little quarter circles to decorate those pieces as well. So if you're really into your layering up, or you've layered up some of the panels and you feel like the corners need an extra colour on them or something, or you want to add a bit of dimension to them, you actually get all of these little pieces, so you can cut all of them in one go. You get 6 of them, which is fantastic, and also great if you're going to do some card making with them as well. You could do some cool, fun, geometric, mosaic kind of designs using these and cutting them from different colours. So I might actually have to remember that and give that a go for one of my cards as well, if I get a chance to. But I just remembered that I hadn't put them on here, so I didn't lose them. But you also get those to decorate these pieces as well. Then, to create the actual base of the box, you will need this piece, which is the side, and you'll need 4 of these. And I show you in the construction video how it goes together. But basically, you fold the whole side in half here. So this flap will completely go over here, but you also have this piece in the middle which gives you that little ledge that sticks out, and so you fold all of this together, and then when you pull this over, because this will be folded and pushed outwards, this side will actually meet this side and give you a flat inside of the box. So then you have this piece protruding outside and you have a completely flat piece on the inside of the box that holds all of this together, and I show you that in the construction video. So you need that. you need 4 of them. You need 4 of these, which are the glue tabs, to attach this to the base. And then in the instructions it says the second largest square, but I think they're referring to this one as the largest square. So it is actually just the largest actual square die. So because this one cuts the lid, so it's the largest actual square die. There are 2, so it gets a little bit confusing in their instructions the way they say the second one. But there are 2 here, but it is the largest one that you want. I mean, to be on the safe side, you can cut the largest one, and then if you wanted the smaller one, you could then cut the smaller one inside the larger one. But it is definitely the largest one, because that's what I used for my box. So that's the base of the box, the sides, the glue tabs, and the base. That is how you make the actual base portion of the box, and then you would also need more of these to hold everything together. So to make one base portion, you need 8 of these, because these actually hold each corner above and below that little ledge piece that sticks out. So that is the dies to create the actual box. Then, if you're going to make multiple layers, you would obviously do this again, but without the base. And then to attach the boxes together, the levels together, you need this die, which is kind of like a circle with 2 little flat edges and then a score line running through the middle. And this actually will then cover these. So when you're putting the box together, you're using these to hold it together, but then later down the line, if you're stacking 2 together, you will actually be using this to cover over these. You can see they'll go over the top, and it's slightly bigger, so it actually hides what's underneath there. So that is also what you would need if you were going to make this into a double layered box. Then for the legs of the box, you do also get the dies to create the legs. And each leg requires 1 of each of these, so you'll need 4 of each of these to create the 4 legs for the box. And this portion folds together and sticks inside this portion, and then you've probably guessed that this semicircular portion at the top is what sticks onto the box, and it actually covers up one of those semicircles that was used to hold the box together. So if you actually look at this, to create that main mortise box, that is all the dies that you actually need. I mean, it would be bare and not decorated, but that is everything from the die set that you would need to create it. So look at all of this extra that you're actually getting. Obviously some of these make the smaller boxes that go inside as well, but isn't that just fantastic that you get all of these extras in there that are for like decoration and making it look prettier and everything. I can also run through the few extra dies that can be used to add decoration onto these circles, for example. So you have the semicircles here, and you get 2 of them, so you can cut 2 at once. And these would be, if I show you on the real box, these would be to decorate just on there. You can actually add your extra detail onto there if you wanted to, depending on how fancy you're going with your box. You've got those pieces. And you also have the pieces that will decorate the leg as well. So the leg of the box, those pieces will actually go inside that. So if I show you that on the real box as well, on this side, you actually have both of them, both handedness of them, to decorate on there as well. So if you've done the ones on here, you might as well do the ones on here, and then you can also do the ones on there, because I showed you those dies as well. I'll just get one of them. You can actually layer that up as well. So if you're going for a really fancy kind of box with lots of layering, you have all of those ones to decorate that too, which is really nice that they've thought of all of the decoration dies as well. Then, obviously for decorating the top of the box, you can use any of these dies that I'll go through in more detail in a minute. But you also have these dies, which are all of the edge pieces. So you have 3 different edge pieces. This one is my favourite. I love this design with those little sort of circular kind of and rainbow or deco kind of design in there with little holes, which would be perfect for gems or nouveau drops. Then you also have this one, which is a symmetrical kind of like flourishy design with almost like a flower in the centre, and then gorgeous swirly flourishes that are coming off of it. Then you also get a plain one, and actually I should mention these two have the cutting edge on them, which is fantastic, because I don't know about you, but sometimes when all of your patterned panels have a separate edge and a different pattern, I do like to be able to mix and match them, and you know, you get more options to be able to put the different patterns inside them. But sometimes, especially when they're full of detail and stuff, it gets so annoying to have to like either run the solid one through and then the patterned one through, depending if they'll fit inside each other and stuff. So the fact that these ones have the outside edge on them is brilliant, and I really love it when they do that. So, but you also have the plain one if you did want to put a solid colour or glitter card or mirror card or something behind these panels. Also, my tip for if you want to do that, I tend to cut these ones out, then just stick them onto the cardstock that I want to back them on and cut round them, because this in particular is 2 straight lines, which a long bladed pair of scissors works perfectly to cut them out, and then you just got to go around a little curve, and it would save having to die cut this however many more times that you would need to die cut it. I mean, it's totally up to you how you do it, but that's just my kind of trick or cheats way of getting the backing colour on dies like this. And then this solid one, you actually have 2 different dies that will deboss into it. So you've got this sort of stripy one, and I think these would hot foil as well if you wanted to give that a go. And then you also have this one, which is like piercing dots, which again I think would probably hot foil. It's deeper than this one. They've got deeper dots in it because they would actually pierce into the card, but I think you could get away with hot foiling that as well if you wanted to. So those are like the decorations for the side of the box. And then we still have all of these dies left, basically. So if I show you now what dies make the smaller boxes that go inside. So one of the smaller boxes requires this, and this one as the base, and this one cut with this one. So these ones that make the smaller boxes are separate. They're nothing to do with this nesting set of square dies, but you can use the nesting ones to decorate if you wanted to. Like inside the box, or yeah, probably just inside the box really. But you need to cut the two of these together that come separately to make the top of that box, and that's the open topped box. So that box is very simple. You're basically just using those 3 dies to create it. And then the other box, you actually need 2 of these, which create the lid and the side. 2 of these, which give you the other 2 sides of the box. You need the largest of these squares, which gives you the base of the box, and then you need this piece as well, which gives you the top of the box. And if you want to do the locking mechanism that you do with these 2 flap pieces on the opposite sides of the box, you will also need these 3 other dies from the set as well. You need 1 solid circle, 1 of these circles that has this semicircle cut out of it, almost looks like a smiling face emoji, and then you will need 2 of these, but you only need 1 of the donut. You need 2 of the interior pieces though, and that's how you create the little lock mechanism that will lock this little box together. And then you have the decoration for those as well. So you have 3 different designs to decorate the circular locking mechanism on that little box, but you could use these anywhere and cut them out with the circle. You've got, actually there's a butterfly there, I hadn't noticed that one was a butterfly, this one's a butterfly. You've got that gorgeous circular design, and then you've almost got like a star or flower kind of design in there as well, which will fit inside the open circle that you've got. You also have these 2 pieces which decorate parts of the top of the box that has the locking mechanism on it. So you can use either the straight edge or the straight edge with the piercing detail. And they're slightly different sizes, so you could actually layer those on top of each other. And then you also have the options for the sides as well of that box with, well, either box would use the rectangles and the locking mechanism box would use these ones. And you have the scalloped edge on them. So you've got both designs, or both pieces with the scalloped edge. And you've got that gorgeous sort of circle, Art Deco, rainbowy kind of design on them. And this missing piece here is where you would place this to get the perfect placement. So if you watch my construction video, that's how I should have told you how to do that, but I hadn't cut the detail on the top of my box, so I didn't realise that was there. But that is how you would get the locking mechanism in the right place. And then you also have the straight edged versions of them as well, with a different design in. I love this one. This is what I used on my open topped box, and it's also got the gorgeous version of the design in this top piece as well, which again has that kind of indentation ready for that piece to go on, and this smaller dent in this one would actually be the perfect positioning for the opposite side of the box to put these interior circles for the locking mechanism on there as well. Then we have the gift tag, which is a lovely gift tag shape with a nice large opening, so you can use a wider ribbon or baker's twine to attach that to your gift box. And then it says "a gift for you" on there. I have a feeling I already just showed you this, but a gorgeous scripty font on there, really lovely, and a little bit chunkier than we might be used to, so it's not as fiddly to kind of poke out, which is quite nice. Not that I don't like the fiddly ones, but you know, if you're in a rush or something, it's quite nice to have a slightly chunkier one so you're not having to be too fragile with it. And then finally, the rest of the dies in this set are this massive layering die set. So I have already taken one square off, which is the base of the box, but to decorate the top of the box or just for your card making, you then get another square. Let me bring this in a bit closer. You get another plain edged square. You get this gorgeous decorative detail, which I've shown you on the top of the box, and I will show you that box again. Then you get another plain, just straight edged die, so you can actually turn that into a frame and have a straight edge on both sides. Then you get this gorgeous one, which is a tiny scallop with holes in it, and I love this one. I use that on the top of my box. Then you get the next one in, which has these kind of like extra squares on the corner. If you look over here, you can see it better. That die's not as close to it, but it actually just cuts a mat with these gorgeous little extra squares on the corner. Then you have another just plain edge square die. Then you have this gorgeous pattern that matches the patterned panels and has like the little sort of rainbow kind of shape. Then you have another plain edge die, so you can turn this one into a frame if you want to as well, especially for like scrapbooking and memory books and stuff. Then you have the next size down of that gorgeous tiny scalloped with the holes in, and if you love your embroidery, you could actually embroider through those holes as well. It would work really nicely for that. Then you have the next size down of the square with like the squares in the corners. Then you have another plain edged rectangle, another decorative detail, which these almost remind me of like peacock feathers in those corners. Then you have another plain edge square, which you can use together to make that one into a frame. And then you have a final square in the centre as well. So many dies in this set, and I think so many uses for all of these dies as well. So I've been talking for ages, but I'll be back in 1 second to show you the Mortice box once again, and I'll be back in 1 second to show you the Mortice box again, just so you've got another look at it as well. Okay, so one more look at the gorgeous Magnificent Mortice box, and I'll show you that detail up close in some of those dies so you can see how they cut out as well. And I actually used the larger of the two small squares that are in the centre to do that kind of little star kind of thing. I just sort of offset 3 of them to make a focus point for the handle of the box. And then you can see that gorgeous design on the side of it. You've got like your corner pieces, these pieces that hold everything together, and the little legs on there as well that are reinforced inside, and your box actually sits on this cardboard piece as well. And you've got a lovely sturdy box having the 2 layers on there too. And then if we have a look inside the box, you can see the 2 other small boxes that are in here as well. And this is one of the detail panels that's on there, and that's the open topped box. And I've used a different colour base on the inside just to make it a little bit more contrasting. But because this is open, you could also put patterned panels on the inside as well if you wanted to, especially if you've used a lighter colour, they'd be more visible. Because I used a dark colour, it's quite dark in there. But yeah, you can definitely put the panels on the inside as well. And then this is the other panel in that gorgeous design again, and this is the other type of box as well, which actually just opens up like this. And actually, as I was just putting the dies back on the magnetic sheet, these are actually different sizes, which I hadn't realised before. The 2 dies that cut those out, I did just tell you that they were different sizes, but these 2 tabs, the 2 semicircle kind of pieces, are actually different sizes as well, or at least the metal for the die is. No, they are different sizes. So if you're sticking these panels on and you think, oh, that's not lining up with the indents, because look, on this one it lines up with the indents, but on this one it's a bit off from them, and it's because those two actual flaps are different sizes. But I hadn't realised that until I was just putting those dies back on the sheet, so I thought I'd just mention that. And this is the gorgeous like mechanism for how it closes, and this circle goes into that circle there. So I think you can just about see that on there, and then that's how it holds it shut, which is really clever locking mechanism actually. I think that on a gatefold card would be really great actually. You could use that locking mechanism on a gatefold card to keep it shut, as well as on other boxes that you might have too. So I love the little boxes that go inside as well, and you can definitely stack them inside there if you do multiple layers, and if you don't be silly and put 3D foam on the outside panels, they will definitely fit less snugly, so they'll have a little bit of room between them, so you can fit 4 of them in each layer of the box as well. So great for the advent calendars or 12 days of Christmas and stuff too. So I will pass you on to future me to show you some cards. Fingers crossed I had a chance to do them, and then I'll be back to end the video. So I managed to find a little bit of time to create a few cards to show you some of the ideas that I was thinking about to use some of these Magnificent Mortice dies. You can see they're really simple kind of ideas, but I just thought it's quite nice to see a visual of them to kind of spark your brain into, you know, thinking of different ways that you could use some of these dies, not just on the gift box. This one's really simple, just using one of the edge border dies, and I think I said earlier that this one was my favourite, but you get a couple of other options as well, and even ones that have the debossing detail that goes through the middle of them, so you could definitely mix and match either different patterns or you know, creating this same kind of look with the different patterns and repeating them like this. For this one I used a mixture of, I think this is pistachio cardstock, then I think this is called smooth mint pearlescent card, or fresh mint perhaps, and then this is one of their like ivory or champagne-y kind of colours for these ones as well. I just thought that off-white kind of colour would look quite nice, so I've just done 2 of the pistachio, 1 of the pearlescent, and 2 of that neutral colour. I offset these ones, I put them back to back and offset them to make them look a little bit different, and then all the other ones I kept the same orientation, so they're sort of like rainbow arches rather than being upside down. And then I've also added on like a little extra strip of the pearlescent card just to balance the pearlescence across the card. And then for the sentiment, this is the sentiment that's in that little gift tag, and I'm sure I said earlier that if I made some cards I would definitely be utilising that sentiment and snipping it out of the gift tag, and you can see just how gorgeous it looks snipped out of the gift tag, and you can sort of trim off the tails to any of the words to give it less of that gift tag kind of shape, because they were kind of holding it into the gift tag, and I think it looks really lovely. And I've just layered that one with white and then the pearlescent card as well, and then to help it stand out a little bit more, because I've done it very monochrome and sort of tone on tone, I just ripped a random shape of vellum and added it behind it, and then did some white stitching just to help the vellum kind of stand out a little bit as well. So that was just one of my really simple kind of ideas of how to use one of the border strips to create a card. And then I wanted to use some of those gorgeous square dies and also the circle die, because when I was showing you the die set, I noticed that had a butterfly inside it. And I thought that would look perfect, kind of like scattered down a card. So again, I've snipped out the sentiment from that gift tag and I've layered it with white and gold to go on there. And then I've used some of the smallest dies from the square nesting set, cutting them from, I think this is the avocado green cardstock, and then the satin gold mirror card, and then I've layered one of the handmade papers behind, that gorgeous like leafy one in the green tones. And the drops I've used on this one, which went perfectly, is the Gold Coast, which I don't often reach for, but it's kind of almost a sage green kind of gold. It's definitely on the greener side for a gold, so it works really nicely with this green and gold colour scheme. And then for all of the ones that are sort of cascading down the card, I've switched it round and done either gold on the top and green on the bottom, or gold on the bottom and green on the top, just to make it look a little bit different. I've done 3 of one and 2 of the other. And originally my idea was to use this square as a square, but as I was placing everything down on the card, I thought a diamond would work really nicely, and I don't often like orient a square into a diamond on my card. So I thought this gave a really lovely look, and I really like how this one turned out. And I also used some of that Gold Coast glitter drops just to fill in some of the details on that detailed die as well, just for something different. You could have also dropped some into the butterflies on there as well. They've got like perfect placements for Nuvo drops too. But I really loved how that one turned out, so I'm glad I had a chance to show you a few ideas with this Magnificent Mortice die set for some cards. And I did also do this one, which I haven't had a chance to finish, but I wanted to show how you can repeat die cut those gorgeous small little panels that decorate the small boxes that go inside. And this is flipping this one, so mirroring it, so that you've got like a bigger design. You could have just left it as a square on there, but I also brought one down further and left a gap. So I tried to eyeball that the top and bottom rectangles were about the same distance from the corner pieces that I've cut in, and then I was left with a little strip in the middle, which a lot of your sentiment stamps will fit just perfectly down that strip in the middle. So I thought that was quite a nice way of doing it, rather than centralising the whole like set of 3 of the die cuts, which is kind of tricky to do if you're sort of cutting them one at a time. I thought it's quite nice having that little band going across. You could put a ribbon across there, maybe to hide it if you didn't want people to know that there was an extra bit of card there, or you can add a die cut sentiment over the top of that, or stamping one I think would look lovely as well. And I wanted to show you how you could use those decorative pieces that decorate the corner reinforcers that go on the box, and you can actually just use those little quarter circles to cut actual like little apertures in the corners, or you can obviously die cut them and stick them on top as well if you'd rather do it that way. But I just wanted to show you that one, even though I hadn't had a chance to finish it. But I was thinking maybe the handmade paper behind it, maybe cutting some strips of the gold and going with the green and gold theme as well, and maybe making your own little like skinny gold frame to go around here, possibly putting gold under the little corners as well, and then having a little stamped sentiment, or even one of my Dymo label sentiments going across that middle banner as well, I think would look really lovely. So hopefully those have given you a few ideas of how you can make this Mortice gift box go a little bit further. You know, once you've made a few of the gift boxes and you want to do something different, or if you wanted a card that matched the gift box as well, you can actually use some of the dies to create your cards with them too. So I will pass you back to past me to finish off the video for you. So I hope you enjoyed those cards if I had had a chance to make any. If not, I'm sorry I didn't have enough time to. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. I think I gave you a very in-depth look at the die set. So hopefully any of your questions you had about the die set have kind of been answered in showing you them up close. But like I said at the beginning of the video, if you do want to see how this box goes together, I put this one together in a construction video, which will either be up today or within the next week, definitely, while the Cyber Week celebrations are going on. That video will definitely be up to help you put it together, or help you decide if you think you would be able to put it together and then want to buy the die set as well. And also don't forget the affiliate links are in the description below the video, and also on my blog post as well if you're interested in getting this die set. So hopefully this was helpful, and thank you so much for watching, especially if you're still here, because I have a feeling this is a very long video. I really do appreciate those of you who stay around and watch till the end. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!